Hello everyone! This time we will talk about buy and sell trailing. The purpose of buy trailing is to buy an asset as low as possible when the price is dropping, and that of sell trailing is to sell an asset as high as possible when the price is rising. Let's take a look at some scenarios wherein these features can be beneficial. Here we have a coin that is in accumulation phase. We anticipate its growth and we want to sell it as high as possible. In this case, we can use sell trailing. First, we need to set the activation price, represented by this horizontal line. Then, specify the follow distance. I'll set it to 10%. When the price crosses this level, the trailing will be activated. Trailing will follow the price growth, staying at the exact distance we set. Please note that we set the follow distance in percent, but it is fixed in absolute values from the activation price, so that when the price changes, the distance does not. When the price trend reverses, and it crosses the lower boundary of the distance, trailing will sell our assets at about this level with a market order. In this case, trailing allowed us to sell at a better price, around 67% higher than the activation price. Let's move to our next example. Here we have an asset that we expect to drop, and we want to buy it at a better price. However, we don't know when the price will reverse, so we can opt to use buy trailing. This works the same. We need to enter activation price and follow distance, say 3%. Now when the price starts going down and crosses the activation level, our trailing starts following the price. The moment the price bounces in the opposite direction and crosses the higher boundary of the distance, trailing will buy our asset here. This way, trailing buys the asset at a 5% better price than the one we have originally set. Now let's take a look at these features in the Capico terminal. We'll start with sell trailing. First, we need to create a limit sell order. The price we set for it will be the trailing activation price. To enable trailing, we need to open the Smart Trade window and click plus. First click enables the trigger feature, and the second one enables trailing. Let's also add a stop loss and set it to 2%, and a take profit. If you trade on a spot market and you don't plan to buy the asset back, you can skip this. To show you how trailing works in the terminal, I'll set the activation price close to the current price and save the trade. When the price crosses this level, trailing gets activated and it appears on the charts at the set distance, which is 1% in our trade. You'll receive a notification to your email or Telegram. I'll fast forward this video so we can see how trailing behaves. Trailing will now follow the price when it rises, staying at a distance that is no more than what we have set. The moment the price crosses the trailing top to bottom, the asset will be sold. An important thing to note here, because we enter a position with trailing, stop loss is not set in absolute values, as it is in trades that don't have trailing as position entry. Instead, it will be set when the trailing sells the asset at 2% above our entry point. Now let's talk about buy trailing. We'll change the direction to buy, set an activation level, and open the Smart Trade window. Then we enable trailing at a stop loss and a take profit. Another important thing to note here, take percent must be higher than the trailing percent, otherwise it is possible that take profit will be executed as soon as the asset is bought. Let's move the activation level closer to the current price and click save. And, just as sell trailing, buy trailing will be activated as soon as the price crosses this level. However, buy trailing will follow the price when it drops. The buy itself will occur when the price bounces off the local minimum and crosses trailing bottom to top. Also, I want to show you a more complex trade here, one that has trailing and averaging orders in it. Let's click plus buy. As you can see, stop loss is no longer set in percent, but absolute values instead. In this case, it is possible that the trade can be closed on stop loss before buy trailing even buys the asset. Moreover, it is important to know that while trailing can provide a more favorable position entry, it can also enter a position at a less favorable level than the activation level. This heavily depends on the way you set trailing up, as well as the current market situation. That is why we recommend this feature for the more experienced users. In conclusion, let's take a look at the trades list. Our trade here has a purple progress bar showing that it has trailing active, as well as showing trailing percentage. To get more comfortable using trailing, You can switch demo mode on here and get some practice without financial risks. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions left, you can ask them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you found this video helpful. Enjoy trading with Capico.